Good afternoon, everybody, and let's take a look at our action from last week with our first point. So let's get going here. Okay, let's keep an eye on Dottie here. Once that return goes over cross court, again, players, you're trying to recognize driver lob. I don't see a really Barbie lobbing on this one, and it's a good idea to move up a step. But what do you know? Barbie does throw up a lob. What do I know? Okay, so here we go. So what's really cool on this is once Gretchen's getting this little half volley here, watch how Barbie's reacting in the backcourt. She's immediately moving up. She's not really waiting to see what Gretchen's done with it. It's just a good idea when your partner plays a short ball up at the net like that and puts it in a good place like she just did. She put it right into the center of the court, which obviously Dot's got to go after, but one of the downsides there is Dot is leaving her side of the court, but she really doesn't have any choice. And by Barbie coming up quickly enough, it should give you or Barbie a chance to go right into the side of the court that's been cleared open. Let's just see what happens. Yes, thank you, Barbie. Good choice. Right on the money. And I don't think Dot was able to cover that. And even though, Dot didn't make that, again, notice this good movement from Val. She, as Dottie was pulled off to the side, Val went right into the center. It's exactly what you need to do in case the point goes on any further. So let's take this. Let's move on to our next point. And again, let's look at Dot. Again, I still think he can move up a little bit into the court there, because that's where if Dot reads a good drive and is moving up a little bit, it gives her an opportunity to get to this ball, because look where it's crossing the net here. Relatively, it's on Dot's side of the net, and whenever you're in this position, if you're closer to the net, that's a ball definitely you can get your racket on. Let's move on in. Val plays a good deep ball into Barbie's feet. Ball's going up, and let's see where Val plays this ball. Same thing, Gretchen's playing a shot, and look how Barbie's reacting off of that to move up. Now let's just look and see where Val chooses to go with this ball. She goes out wide to an angle. And when you're in this person's position is to clearly evaluate how far has my partner been pulled over. I think on this one, Gretchen could have moved over just a little bit more just to plug that middle of the court. And guess what? Look where that ball went from Val right up the center. And, Gretchen gets a racket on the ball, but if you're in better position, instead of just getting your racket on the ball, you can do more with the shot just because by virtue of being in better position. And this is the one where, Val came up with a great lob volley on this, and it clears Gretchen. And we'll watch how much court Barbie's able to cover on this. And Val and Dot are in pretty good position because we know a lob is going to have to come out of the situation. Now, from Gretchen's position here is, oh my God, my partner ran in behind me. And so as quickly as you can is to just run over to that side of the court. Somebody's got to be there, because guess where this ball is going? Because as Val's going to hit this shot, okay, there's Val. What she's eyeballed is this area that is just wide open in the court. And guess what? That's where it goes. Perfect placement. And that's why positioning is so important. If you're out of position, you're making it too easy for your opponents to make that decision as to where to hit the ball. And being in better position, obviously, will always tend to put more pressure on your opponents. So let's move on forward here. And here we go. Okay, good cross-court ball. And watch the movement. What's really cool is on this is look at the movement of these three players and watch how they're all moving in unison Oh my goodness, that's just such fantastic movement. Dot sliding right into the center. Gretchen's protecting her side of the court. Barbie's filling the middle of the court, and here comes the lob coming up. And Gretchen's getting a beat on this thing. Let's see what she does with it. Goes back towards the center of the court. Okay, now the ball goes out wide. And let's look at the other players and let's see what kind of movement we have. Now, different than the previous one. Here we have a wide ball going out. And this time, these two players, for whatever reason, have decided not to shift over with the ball. And so, even though she doesn't go up the line on this shot, we can see this is pretty wide open. And but I believe Barbie actually goes back cross court, plays a high percentage shot over there. And on this ball, this is where, from what you want to learn from this is from Gretchen is to make sure you're fully aware of how far your partner's been pulled out of position to hit a ball. In this case, with Barbie being in the middle of her alley, if Gretchen fully or anybody's fully aware of that, it really tells you that you don't have any help behind you in case there is a lob. Because what happened here is Val sent up a nice lob volley off of that, and I think Gretchen was thinking, well, maybe Barbie can go over there and get that, but she just ran 1.5 miles to cover that other lob, and that's just not going to happen. So in that kind of situation, what you want to learn from that is, if you're caught in Gretchen's position here and you see your partner has been pulled out wide, from Gretchen's position is just to back up and do the best job she can to try to protect and cover her own lob in that instance. Oh, beautiful. Oh my goodness, I love that point. Gretchen moving in for the kill behind that. Great put away. Let's take this, let's move forward just a little bit further and check out another point here. Okay, I love this beginning of the point. If we look at Gretchen here, like we talk about every session, is the importance of keeping your focus on that person. That's your first priority. And then off of this, you can see how Gretchen's readjusting her positioning in here. Once that ball she sees is going to be by Dot at the net, she can go ahead and move on in there, which she does. She closes on it, and she's got a few options on this. When you're closing up, she's got a space over there. She's got an opportunity to go between the two of them, or she can go and just bury Dot. So let's see what Gretchen goes with. Oh, she goes with the wide angle here. Love that. If you remember, I think on the previous point, she actually went to Dot on that one, but this time she went back to the other open area. Very nicely done. Let's move forward just a little bit here. Whoops. And okay, beautiful. Oh, this is a good one to finish on. Here we have a situation where Gretchen's going to be pulled out to the side. Let's keep an eye on Barbie here, and I'll keep an eye on Dot and see how we all adjust to this. Ball goes out wide. Barbie recognizes that. Watch how Barbie slides over to her left a little bit. She's sliding over. If we look at Dot, Dot is subtly also sliding over towards her alley side there. And nice get by Gretchen to go back cross court. And then watching Barbie right here, I love that, how she's readjusting her movement at this point. Gretchen's ball goes in there, so she shadows the ball beautifully. And again, looking at how Dot has readjusted also. Because, when you are in Barbie's position right now, what you're eyeballing is this area. If you can get your racket on it, that's going to be a clear path for a winning shot. Val, however, goes back cross court with the shot. Now let's see what Gretchen does with this ball. Whoa. Man, that is beautiful. So Gretchen's getting ready to hit the ball. What do you think she sees? She's got a couple of openings here. She's got a couple of options there or there. and she chooses number 2, going right between the two of them. And here's, you might ask yourself, well, how is that shot going to be covered? Val just hit a backhand off that side. It's a tough cover for her. This is where the non-hitting partner, Val was playing the previous ball. And this is why it's so critical for this partner to move forward and closer to the net, because if you watch where this ball goes, it goes right through the center there. Look at that. And we can see the ball right there, and I can guarantee you if Dot is, let's say, 2 to 3 steps closer to the net, she is all over that shot. And looking at Barbie's focus, she's picked up on the ball. She is zeroed in case whoever gets their racket on the ball, she's ready for it. And you can see how she's shading more to the center of the court here. And Barbie is really not concerned with this area over here. It's just like that doesn't exist. And Gretchen went right through the center there. And, one of the ways you keep balls going from the center is that person, in this case is Dot, she's got to be a little bit closer to the net, because as we all know, when you are closer to the net, you are also closer to the center of the court. So great job, everybody. I was really impressed by the movement on the court of the players to the ball. Our positioning is getting better each time out here. Shot selection is getting better. As you're out there playing on your own, I would encourage all of you to keep your focus on that serve +1 and return +1, because as you're putting those first 2 balls into play, you're creating momentum that you can carry from point to point. So if you have any questions on this, let me know. Outside of that, everybody, give yourself an A+ for this week. That was a great job, and thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.